Hello there. Hello there. Am I live? I should be live. Now, welcome to the live stream with no audience, as I suppose it will be. Yeah, well, I wanted to make a live stream about Star Wars, about my own personal Star Wars memories from when I was younger, when I was a child, and then a bit older when I was a teenager, and that Star Wars in general, and what I think about it, or not really think about it, my experience, my life experience with Star Wars. And just before I planned this live stream, I actually got to know one very good news, because this live stream was inspired by the recent very bad news about the firing and cancellation of Gina Carano, which of course made me very angry, and I really haven't felt as angry about pop culture news. Like I've never felt that angry, really, because it only proved my point. It proved my bloody point that we are living in very dark times. It's like 1984. It's like the old USSR, like, the old good old socialism. And I come from a country that was once under the iron fist of socialism, and I know it from my parents, my grandparents told me how it was here. And you couldn't really say anything, you couldn't do anything that wouldn't be approved by the regime. And that is why I was so enraged when I heard the news about Gina Carano and that she was fired and cancelled just for expressing her opinion. And this opinion was very truthful, very true, but it just really didn't fit the agenda of the left in the United States of America. But the most recent news is very bright, very positive for me, because I just read this, that Gina Carano announces new movie project with Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire. So not even 24 hours after she was fired from the bloody hellish dark side of a Lucasfilm, she prevailed. She got on her own feet, as I suspected she would, and she is going to make her own movie. And she says they can't cancel us if we don't let them. I'll just read it out very quickly for you before I get to the original point of this video, which is talking about my Star Wars memories. So less than 24 hours after explosive ouster from Star Wars series The Mandalorian for incendiary social media posts, Gina Carano has hit back at her detractors and revealed a new movie project she is making with conservative website The Daily Wire. Carano told us today, The Daily Wire is helping make one of my dreams, to develop and produce my own film, come true. I cried out and my prayer was answered. I am sending out a direct message of hope to everyone living in fear of cancellation by the totalitarian mob. I have only just begun using my voice, which is now freer than ever before, and I hope it inspires others to do the same. They can't cancel us if we don't let them. And this really brought a spark of hope into my heart, because I went through a similar thing. I'm not going to get into details too much, but let's just say that I thought I could be a part of something. In my case, it was academia. And because my opinions are not in line with the opinions of the, academia left, I was systematically pushed out. And in the end, I decided to leave myself. And I feel much better now because I can say whatever I want. So, yeah, but this is about Star Wars. And I want to talk about my first memory my first memory with Star Wars, my first experience. I remember when Star Wars was just pure escapism. When I used to just watch the films as a little kid, as a wee lad, when my father brought the VHSs home, and I was just watching A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi over and over again on the old VHSs. When I was 3 or 4 years old, I was just binging it. At the weekends, it was all day long, just Star Wars and Star Wars, Star Wars. And then 1999 came, and I was 6 years old, and my mom and my dad took me to cinema for the first time in my life. A huge experience, because the Phantom Menace was about to be released in cinemas in the Czech Republic, where I come from. And let me tell you, I was so excited. I saw the trailers. I saw that there was going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, whom I knew only as an old man. There was going to be a kid Anakin Skywalker, whom I knew, to be Darth Vader at the time. And that, and the other things, I think there was Master Yoda in the trailer, but otherwise it was something completely new. It was something mysterious. There was a new Sith Lord. There was this very cool red and black painted tattooed Sith Lord with horns and double-bladed lightsaber, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, this is going to be awesome. And it was, and that is why I'm one of the only people who actually love the Phantom Menace. I do. I own it now in this DVD collection, which unfortunately contains the changed Yoda. It's not the puppet anymore. It's the CGI Yoda. But I do remember, I still have a copy somewhere of DVD with the old Master Yoda from Phantom Menace, when he was, a puppet, as he was always supposed to be. Of course, voiced by Frank Oz. And let me tell you, that experience, and that is also why I love Jar Jar Binks so much. Many people hate Jar Jar Binks to the depth of their heart, but because the Phantom Menace is so closely connected with my childhood, that is why I love everything that's got something to do with the prequel trilogy. I even remember getting one of my first action figures from the Phantom Menace for Christmas that year. I only kept a couple of them from the time. Of course, I reacquired many of them later. They are hanging above my door. As I can see, in the original Phantom Menace packagings, I can see Obi-Wan Kenobi, 2 Qui-Gon Jinns, and Boss Nass, and Captain Tarpals, and Darth Maul, obviously. But this was one of the first action figurines from the Phantom Menace that I got as a kid when I was 6 or 7 years old. The Battle Droid. He's got a blaster somewhere and a stand, but I had all of them. I had Jar Jar Binks, I had Qui-Gon Jinn, I had Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it was also the times when the Star Wars action figurines were still like 3 3/4 of an inch, right? Or 3 inches and 3/4. So they were still these small little action figures that already were collectible items. They were not just for kids, but collectors were buying them, keeping them in the packagings, and displaying them on their walls. Of course, at the time, I was still playing with them, but I couldn't have been more excited about Phantom Menace. I think I still got the original VHS somewhere that my father then bought bought for me when it was released. So Phantom Menace was a huge part of my childhood, and then of course I was excited. The Attack of the Clones came out, and we saw Yoda fighting for the first time. Master Yoda using his lightsaber and being totally badass when he was fighting Count Dooku or Darth Tyrannus. I love Count Dooku. He's one of my favorite Sith Lords, as you can see. There's this I don't know how well you can see it, but there's this not that cheap Hot Toys figure of Count Dooku, and there's of course Darth Maul. Jesus, the prequel trilogy. It's got a specific atmosphere to it, very much different from the original trilogy. But as I said, that might be just my case because I grew up watching the prequel trilogy, and then it was still these 3 inches figures when they started releasing these figures with a better articulation. It was released by Hasbro already. It didn't belong to Kenner. So this is one of the figures that I had as a kid. Of course, Luke Skywalker. We know what happened recently in The Mandalorian. So as you can see, I loved this fella a long time before the 2nd season of The Mandalorian, and this is the proof. Look at that. This is the proof why I cried like a baby, why I sobbed multiple times when I saw Luke Skywalker appeared at the end of the 2nd season of The Mandalorian. I was like a little child. I couldn't stop crying. That's why, because I loved him so much. And of course, you just have to have Darth Vader. So these things were an awesome part of my childhood. These small action figurines. I wasn't that much playing with them. I was always a collector. I preferred to display my action figurines when I was a little kid, and I tend to do that as well nowadays. Does he have a removable helmet? I don't know. Yes, you motherfucker! Look at that. This one's got a removable helmet. You can see Anakin Skywalker under there. So this is already when the action figurines started to be a little bit more elaborate. Because, look at that. The removable helmet, it's got a better articulation. You can bend the knees and, right, like this. And the legs can go sideways and not only like front and back. He can hold the lightsaber in 2 hands. But, of course, for the standards of nowadays, these action figurines are already updated. We've got Hot Toys, we've got Sideshow Collectibles, we've got the Black Series. So, but at the time, it was something fantastic to own something like that. And of course, then the Clone Wars came out. That I was, of course, a little bit older then. I was a teenager, I think. When did it come out? Well, I was definitely a little bit older. This is Cad Bane from the Clone Wars. I remember the packagings of the Clone Wars action figurines very well. The first ones, the first wave, it was a white packaging that was designed into the image of the clone trooper. And again, I had all of them. Unfortunately, I don't know why, but I got rid of most of them, and I've only kept, a couple of them. But I wish I could get all these 3 inches action figurines back, all of them that I owned when I was a little kid, because it's such a, it was such a nostalgic feeling. Well, but Clone Wars, when I was a little child, it was something different for me than we know from the CGI Clone Wars, the film, and then the TV show, because the first time I was exposed to an extended universe, shall we say, as far as Star Wars go, even before I read any of the novels, was this Clone Wars from Cartoon Network, which is a series of short animated skits from the times of the Clone Wars. And it contains characters such as Asajj Ventress. I think this was her first appearance. It contains Count Dooku and the General Grievous. So this, if you don't know this came out at about, I think, 2003. I do strongly recommend this short series, which was mostly silent. There wasn't much dialogue in it, but this is the Clone Wars I grew up with. And of course, the CGI Clone Wars came only later, and I obviously got fell into love with it as well. But I have such great nostalgic memories about this particular series because it was one of the things that introduced me to the extended universe or expanded universe as far as Star Wars goes. And it will forever remain one of my favorite on-screen Star Wars if we don't count the original 6 films. So if you've never seen this, I do recommend it. It's very good. It's very entertaining. It won't take up much of your time. It's not very long. There are 2 DVDs, Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is Volume 1, and each of them runs for approximately 67 minutes. So it's like 2 hours, all in all, for the entire TV show. Much shorter than the, I think, 7 seasons of the CGI Clone Wars. I do strongly recommend that one. Mace Windu is badass in this, by the way. Oh, Jesus, I have to get Mace Windu action figurine. And then when I went to the secondary school, that's another period of a series of very fond memories of Star Wars. And it was still before Disney got its claws into Star Wars and changed it into something that is mainly focusing on some sort of constructed inclusion and representation and diversity, and they stopped focusing on good storytelling. Like, you watch 2 hours of this, and this is mostly silent. And this is better storytelling than the entire Disney trilogy from Kathleen Kennedy. This is much better. There are characters who don't talk in this at all, and they have better character development than Rey had in all the 3 films. Because at the time, the creators were focusing on good storytelling, and in this case also on good and good old animation. This is when people really cared about art, when they cared about good product, when they wanted to enjoy themselves, when they loved Star Wars, when they loved the stories, when they didn't care about... Because, honestly, I don't think that the people who are so much involved in all the talk about inclusion and representation, and I don't think that people who cancel Gina Carano, I don't think that these people actually care about Star Wars. I think that these people only care about causing mayhem. I think that these people only care about hurting other people. It brings them some sort of twisted pleasure. These are people who clearly have nothing better to do in their lives. These are people who we really should feel sorry for, because these are people who are obviously not that successful in their lives, or if they are successful, they are definitely not satisfied in their lives, or they have everything, so they are spoiled, so they are looking for things to fight for. They are looking for, stirring the hornet's nest. They are looking for some sort of excitement. And the sad thing is that the only thing, it seems to me, that is able to bring them any pleasure in their lives is hurting other people, canceling other people whose opinions differ, which is absolutely twisted and absolutely awful. And they tend to bring politics into everything. I don't think that politics has any true place in Star Wars other than the in-universe, in-law politics, like it was in the Phantom Menace. That was one of the things that people don't or didn't like about Phantom Menace. They thought it was too much politics oriented. That there was the separatists and the occupation of Naboo and there were too many scenes from the Senate, and people were just, discussing and talking politics and not fighting enough, and there was not enough action. I don't know. I liked it, but I don't think that true real-world politics belongs in Star Wars. I think that it should be just pure escapism. And for the people who are saying that the original Star Wars and the prequel Star Wars trilogy is not diverse enough, and that they have to bring diversity into Star Wars now in the Disney trilogy or in the High Republic initiative, they have clearly never seen any of the old Star Wars films, or the original Star Wars films, or the prequel Star Wars trilogy. They have never read any of the legends, back then, when I was younger and when I was reading hundreds of Star Wars novels and comic books a year. It was the canon, approved by Lucasfilm, approved by George Lucas. It was fantastic, and it was so diverse. I made a couple of videos about the Throne trilogy, about the Shadows of the Empire, about the Han Solo trilogy, all these things written in the 1990s, and all these things being extraordinarily diverse. There were female characters, strong female protagonists. There were strong male protagonists. There were strong alien protagonists. You had Mara Jade, who then later became Mara Jade Skywalker, the wife of Luke. She was first a hired assassin who was supposed to kill Luke Skywalker, and then they fell in love with each other. It was a fantastic love story, very masterfully written, very well written. It reads itself like this, because at the time still people were not focusing on bullshit and on politics and on agendas. People were focusing on good storytelling, and also, and that's, I think, one of the most important things as well, there was no social media at the time. When I was a little kid, I was just watching Star Wars. When I was a teenager, I was just watching Star Wars, and I was just reading Star Wars, and I was discussing Star Wars with my friends. To get my original point, when I got into, or when I went to the secondary school, I used to take a bus every morning. It's quite far away from here, where I live. I still live in the same part of town, although in a bigger house. But I was taking the bus each and every morning with my friend. And the ride took about 45 minutes to get from here to the place where I went to school. And for the entirety of the 45 minutes, we were talking about Star Wars. We were talking about the different novels we were reading. We knew all about the films, right? We had already discussed all the films to the smallest details, right? But what was still new were the novels, the original canon novels, the expanded universe that's now called Legends. And we were, for example, one day for the entirety of 45 minutes, we were discussing one sequence in a novel about Mace Windu. And we were discussing why Mace Windu had a purple lightsaber of all the Jedi. And our theory was that he was such a good Jedi master and such a good swordsman, such a good fighter, that he had to dabble just a little teensy bit to the dark side of the Force. And that's why his lightsaber was purple, because when you mix blue and red, you got purple color, right? And then, of course, it got official that Samuel L. Jackson wanted his lightsaber to be purple on screen. So that was the entire. They will destroy. Hey, WW2 Templar. Hello, the first comment of this live stream. Thank you very much for joining. And you're saying they will destroy the Lord of the Rings next. Well, we can't let them. You know what? They can't destroy the original Star Wars. They can't destroy our memories, right? I hope that once they will release the original Star Wars films as they were released in the cinemas, because I just don't believe the fact that they don't have the original, like, cases, the original films, the original negatives that they wouldn't be able to restore. I think that they have them in the vault, and my hope is that once they will release them, Star Wars as it was, Star Wars and then The Empire Strikes Back and then Return of the Jedi. I hope the live stream is good because it's, I hope you can see me and hear me properly. This I hope they will do, and if they do, they can't spoil, they can't destroy Star Wars, because at least for me, Star Wars is the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and what they nowadays call the Legends. The new stuff, fuck it. I love The Mandalorian, of course. Even after what happened to Gina Carano, I still think that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are people, that they believe in the true Star Wars spirit. And some people are saying that, yeah, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni should have stood up for Gina Carano. And they did, but try to find something that huge as Disney Lucasfilm. I think that everybody has to bend the knee in the end or get cancelled, like Gina, Carano. So, and they, as far as your comment goes, they are going to do that because there's going to be the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV show. I've covered it in a couple of my videos. They are my most popular videos, by the way. And they are absolutely going to annihilate the extended material, like the Silmarillion or the Unfinished Tales, or really the original material that Tolkien wrote, and that was posthumously published by his son, Christopher. They are going to, of course, focus on diversity and on inclusion and representation and la-di-da-di-da before the, actually making good product or focusing on good storytelling or actually being faithful to Tolkien's original vision. But we don't have to watch it. We don't have to like it. I think I will watch it so I can bitch about it on the internet later. So I can do YouTube videos, but I will always have the novels. I will always be rereading The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion and the Unfinished Tales. So as far as you've got the original material in one way or another, in one form or another, they can't destroy it. If you have your memories, and this is the point of this video, by the way, if you have your memories in your heart and in your brain, and if you remember it fondly, they can't destroy that. Star Wars means something very, very important to me because I have loved Star Wars my entire life, and I have so many fond memories of so many different aspects of Star Wars. As I mentioned in this video, on this live stream, it was first the original trilogy that I watched when I was a kid on VHSs, and then when my mom and my dad took me to cinema to watch The Phantom Menace, and then when I watched this Clone Wars for the first time, it was my first introduction into the expanded universe. And then when I went to the secondary school and I was discussing the novels with my friend, they can't spoil this. They can't spoil my excitement when I was buying these small action figurines, when I was fantasizing about me going on an adventure in a spaceship with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi when he was still young. They can't spoil this. They can make new material that will be shit. They can make new material that nobody really likes. but they can't spoil it. I only feel very sorry for the new audience, for the kids nowadays. Maybe the kids of people who are the original Star Wars fans, they are safe because they will be introduced to the good Star Wars material by their parents. But, you know, people who, I can't imagine somebody seeing Star Wars for the first time or being introduced to Star Wars for the first time by seeing the Force Awakens or The Last Jedi, or was it the Rise of Skywalker. Nah, I feel very sorry for these people. They can never, because these films, they've got no Star Wars atmosphere in them. They just don't feel Star Wars. I mean, if I didn't know anything about Star Wars, if I wasn't a lifelong Star Wars fan, if I didn't care, I would say, okay, episode 7, 8, and 9, okay sci-fi films that don't make that much sense, but they are okay. I mean, they've got nice special effects, they've got nice action. They have kind of good villain, because I do like Kylo Ren. I do. I think he's the only positive thing about the Disney trilogy, Kylo Ren, because he's so torn apart between the light side and the dark side of the Force. And many people didn't like this, but I think, you know, because this is the right trait of a good character. If you want to write a good character, you need to reach the state of catharsis, which means that you need to suffer. You need to watch the character struggle. You need to watch the character going through some sort of character development, through some sort of journey. You need to see the character change. You need to see the character learn something on his or her way. You need to see the character gain experience. You need to see the character become something or somebody better in the end. And Kylo Ren went through this sort of journey. Kylo Ren really changed throughout the 3 films: the Force Awakens, the The Last Jedi, and the Rise of the Skywalker. And I think it worked. And I even felt sorry for him in the end. Spoilers, he dies. But he makes the ultimate sacrifice in the end. He sacrifices his life for Rey. Right? So that is why I consider Kylo Ren to be the one and only good Disney Star Wars character. And it's a pity that he didn't get more space in the film, you know, for his own growth. All the time we were focusing on this one character of Rey, who went through no character development at all. She was a typical Mary Sue character. She wasn't written to be good. She wasn't written to be intriguing. She wasn't written to be interesting. She was just written to please the feminists. I'm sorry, because she started being perfect, she ended up being perfect, and she ended up stealing a name in the end. Oh boy, there was such a cringy scene. What's your name? Rey. And Skywalker. Right? No, but seriously now. You look at Rey, you look at The Force Awakens, and she is able to defeat Kylo Ren in a sword fight. Kylo Ren was studying the ways of the Jedi and then of the Sith, and the Force, and you know, like sword fighting techniques or lightsaber fighting techniques his entire life. Since he was a little kid, he was trained by Luke Skywalker. He was trained by one of the greatest Jedi masters in the history. and he was defeated by a girl who had lightsaber in her hands for the first time in her life. Ugh. At the beginning. I mean, Rey had such a great potential. She had a great potential because when you see her for the first time, you think that, oh, it's like, she's like Luke. She starts basically as nobody, as a little scavenger in the desert, But, oh, we've got like 3 films to follow her on her path to greatness. She can learn so much. Yeah. But then in like 10 minutes, you get to know that she already knows everything. In The Force Awakens, she already uses the mind technique that the Jedi use to persuade, or these are not the droids you're looking for. So when you've got no character development to go through, you've got no interesting character. Period. As far as other characters, I mean, there were so many characters in the Disney trilogy that had great potential, but they were completely messed up. Like Finn. Finn could have been another character who could have been awesome. Like a rogue stormtrooper. Come on, there's so much to talk about. There's so much to elaborate upon. But he was there. Poor Finn. What's the name of the actor? John Boyega. Poor John Boyega. He even admitted that they told him he was there to just tick a box. He was there because he was African American. And that's awful. That's disgrace. I mean, you see how awful Disney is? They admitted to his face that they cast John Boyega just because he was African American. And that's just awful. That's extremely racist, isn't it? I think, from the very little we see of Finn in the film, I think he is an extremely funny guy. If he was given enough opportunities, if he was given enough space, if he was written good, if his character was written good, if his story was written good and elaborated upon, I think Finn could have been an awesome character. Poe Dameron, the same. I love the actor, Oscar Isaac. I love him. If I didn't decide to boycott Disney altogether, I would be looking forward to the Moon Knight TV show that's going to come out. That is based on the Marvel character of Moon Knight, which I consider to be very interesting because it's basically a superhero whose main superpower is that he's a schizophrenic, very simplistically said. And besides that, I love Oscar Isaac. But once again, was he given enough space? No. He was just put down by women throughout the entire Disney trilogy. First by Leia, and then by, I can't believe I remember the name. Was it Captain Holdo? Captain Moldo? Let me know in the comments down below if you remember the name. I think she was Captain Holdo, the purple head, or Admiral, the purple head resistance general, the woman who then sacrificed herself and blew up in the ship. Thank God, right? So again, who was given enough space to grow in the Disney trilogy? Nobody. Rey already knew everything. Rey was a typical Mary Sue character that was there to please the feminists. WW2 Templar says the past movies will be good. The new ones will be trying to make everything there politically correct. Sadly, that is what. Yeah. If you are talking about movies in general, I don't watch any new films for these very reasons you are mentioning. Like, why would we be watching anything that isn't really written to be good, but to follow one agenda or another, or to please a non-existing audience? Because, once again, to go back to the past, I was able to talk to everybody about Star Wars. To young people, to old people, not many girls, because believe me, being a lifelong Star Wars fan, loving Star Wars for more than 25 years, I'm 27 by the way, I don't know that many women who like Star Wars, honestly. I have met maybe 1 or 2 girls that like Star Wars. I know, or I have met 1 female who was a fan, who was a true fan, because there's a difference between having seen Star Wars and being a fan. You know, if you have a guy who shows his girlfriend some of the Star Wars films and she's seen the Star Wars, you know, you can't say that she's a fan. She's seen the Star Wars films. I mean, I've seen many movies, but I'm not a fan of these films. So I'm not saying that women don't like Star Wars. I am, on the other hand, I always say this, that Star Wars is for everybody. Everyone has the right to love Star Wars, whoever you are. Whatever your gender is, whatever your faith is, whatever your sexual orientation is, whoever you are, whatever the color of your skin is, you have the right to enjoy Star Wars, because Star Wars is eternal. Star Wars is for everybody, right? I'm just saying that from my own experience, it's just more of a guy's thing. What was my original point? I got sidetracked a lot. I don't know. I lost myself. I'm sorry. I tend to do that. I'm a teacher, by the way, and when I explain something to my students, I tend to get from one point to another point in like an hour, and in between that, I tend to talk about a million other things, and you know, sometimes I tend to lose myself. But you know, but to get to your comment, yeah, you can't watch good movies these days because they are just not. They are not being made. The Mandalorian was the last good thing that I saw, and I think it will be the last thing for a long time. I enjoyed the Stranger Things, but you know, I really don't have any hopes for anything new. It's the same with comic books. I refuse to read modern comics. Marvel belongs to Disney, and I boycott Disney absolutely and completely. All the branches, Lucasfilm, Marvel, everything, anything anything new that's got anything to do with Disney, they just pissed me off unimaginably. And DC Comics, oh, I don't know if you are comic book fans, but they have been doing to comics the same thing they have done to films. Let's just say that. Let's just say this very simply. Marvel, I'm just not going to mention that. And DC Comics is dead. DC Comics will not be publishing any comic books in like a few months because they have completely messed up. And the latest like big event, Future State, is the same thing, just writing something just to tick boxes. And I even made a video review a couple of days ago about the first issue of Justice League, of the new Future State, the event, and it made me feel physically bad. Like it made me feel physically sick to my stomach. So no, WW2 Templar, absolutely correct. Nothing new. And yeah, well, the USA, the United States, you know, have given the world so much as far as entertainment goes and pop culture. And I have always loved the United States of America for this, because most of the best films, all the best comic books, they come from the USA. They might have been written and done by the British authors or the British artists, but the country of origin of the best films, best comics, is the USA. A tremendous country as far as, you know, but the USA has always been absolutely and completely diverse. and so colorful. And that's what I loved about the USA. But lately, all the crazy things that have been happening in America, and it really resembles my country before 1989. It really resembles a socialist regime where you can only say what the regime approves. So no, thank you very much. But fortunately, I think I've been talking for 45 minutes. Oh Jesus, no, it's too long. I've got other things to do than just ramble about originally Star Wars, but then I got into anything and everything. I live in the USA. Oh, I might talk for a bit more. WW2 Templar, definitely let me know if you feel the same as I do, because I don't live in the USA. I live in the Czech Republic. It's in the heart of Europe, so I can only judge from what I hear from the people. I don't believe in news. I don't trust news, like TV. No. But I think that if you listen to people on the internet, like genuine people, normal folk, I think you can make a very good picture of what's really like. So maybe you can tell me if it's as bad as I think it is. That it's not, when it's in your anthem after all. And the land of the free. Is it still, or is it not? I don't think so that much. But it's not just your case. It's the entire world. The entire world has gone topsy-turvy. The entire world has gone crazy. And it has got into all the structures of the world, like entertainment, pop culture, like Star Wars. It's not like this anymore. It's completely different. Yeah. So I think that's a nice point to stop this. I started when I was like 3 years old, when I watched the original trilogy for the first time, and I went through my entire life with Star Wars when the creators and the fans and all the people who love Star Wars were focusing on Star Wars because it's Star Wars, and because they cared about good stories, and because they cared about good storytelling and escapism, and not so much politics and genders as it is nowadays. And the social media, of course, didn't help. Social media, that destroys everything. Like, leave Twitter and boycott Disney. Absolutely boycott Disney. It's not free anymore. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But as long as there are people like us, open-minded people who are not afraid of expressing their own opinion, and as long as we don't let them cancel us completely and kick us in the butts, I think there's still hope for humanity. I think there's still hope for the world. We just have to fight. We just can't give up. We can't surrender. That's it. And as far as Star Wars goes, to end up on a Star Wars note, do enjoy the good old Star Wars. Get all the original films, get all the original good cartoons, all the good old comics and books, the legends. They are still being published. They just get this, they have this like banner, legends. Enjoy this. And I can't tell you what to do, but it's my strong suggestion. Boycott Disney. Cancel your Disney Plus subscription. Don't watch anything made by Disney. Don't read anything written by Marvel, because they are just a bunch of evil people. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm just going to use the word evil. They are evil. They are mean. They are the representatives of the dark side. Of the dark side of the Force. Yes. Release your anger. Yeah, so that's That's how I'm going to end this. The Emperor tells you to to cancel your Disney subscription. The Disney Plus subscription. Stop reading Marvel comics now. All right. So that will be all from me. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, name WW2 Templar, for being a man or a woman. I think, but I think you're a man. Being very active in my videos. Huge shout outs to you, commenting upon this live stream, and yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and also to the people who are watching this shite after this live stream. 50 minutes, bugger it, I need to go. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, whoever you are, may the force be with you. Bye. You are a man. I thought so. Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Is it over? No. How do I end this? Come on.